Welcome to Jeff Lobb Unleashed, a podcast talking all things sales, marketing, and social for the real estate, mortgage, and title industries. An international speaker and sales coach straight out of New Jersey and the home of Spark Tank Media. Here's your host and coach, Jeff Lobb.
Three biggest mistakes, online leads. Well, first off, I would say let's start talking about the phone call, the online lead that comes in on the phone. Whether it be Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, the biggest challenge we're seeing, and this isn't necessarily even coming from my experience, it's coming from listening to recordings of agents day in and day out and also coaching them. The number one thing is they're unprepared for the call when it comes in, meaning we're listening to people say, take a step back. When the consumer calls in, they think they're talking to the exact person that handles that listing. So the problem is when the call's taken, the agent is kind of off guard a little bit. They don't know the property because most of the time it's not the property that is their listing. So in all fairness, it's probably not in their wheelhouse to know what all the details are. However, the consumer doesn't know that. That being said, agents act like they don't know what they're doing. So a lot of times we're hearing people say, I'm not sure, I got to look that up for you. Or, what was the address of that again? And they're asking questions. They're asking more questions to the consumer to tell them about the property than someone acting confident about knowing the property. So, way to correct that, what we're trying to do is, two things. Have your data available, meaning if you're going to be taking inbound calls, have a device, an iPad, something with you that when someone says, hey, I'm calling about 1522 Main Street, you're like, is that the one in Hoboken or the one in Jersey City? Yeah, it's a great area. Let me pull up the data for you. Hold on real quick. I'll get you the information. Act like you know it. You have to be on top of it. And you got to start to reassure them that you're the person and the right person to be talking to. Way too many times we're hearing can I call you back? I'll look it up for you. And meanwhile, it sounds like you know nothing. When they hang up, they're calling somebody else. That's what's going to happen. So it's the lack of confidence, the lack of knowledge, or the lack of ability to get that information and give them the confidence that you're the right person. So that's the first problem. Second problem is they have to, the consumer itself wants to, know that you're the right person that's going to handle their transaction. So really, they don't know who they're talking to at the other end. So besides knowing the information and the data, the number two thing you need to do is get the appointment. While you give them the information, you're going to give them that information about that property. 95% of the time, they never buy that property. However, it's hard to sell yourself as a real estate professional over the phone. It's hard. And they've probably been on the phone with 10 others already. So your goal is get the value of that property they want to see, talk it up, get them in there and set the appointment. When you have the appointment is most likely when you do your best work. It's when you get a chance to build rapport and ask questions and do all of that. Because the third problem that ties into this is many times we ask questions to that consumer like it's an interrogation. Well, let me ask you, are you pre-approved? Are you this? Are you that? Did you get your financing in order? Have you looked at... There's a few strategic questions you should ask, but interrogation usually doesn't fly. That's the third problem. So what I would recommend is if you ask them a few solid questions like, have you looked at a few other homes before? Something soft and that makes sense. You start asking about their finances, and I know a lot of you don't want to show a home unless they're pre-approved. I got it. But even if they say they're pre-approved, you still don't even know if they're pre-approved. Sometimes, in today's world, consumers don't want to feel that threat. So, many times you might have to suck it up, show them the one property to get the meeting, and then build rapport and ask the right questions. Because even if they're not pre-approved properly, you now have the opportunity to sell them on. Maybe a few of your loan officers can help them better understand their financing. So that's how I would feel. If you interrogated me, I probably would not want to meet with you. So I think you need to ask a few effective questions, which would be, have they looked at a few other homes before? Are they working with another real estate agent? Just to understand that, that angle of what they're looking for, and maybe look to set the meeting on when they're available to see it. Do your best selling in person. So those are my top three probably biggest mistakes. A few tips to kind of correct them, and it takes practice. So know your data, know your market, give the consumer confidence that you're the right person. Support and encourage what they're looking to do. Don't interrogate them, and set the appointment to go build rapport with them. At that point, you might have a better chance of converting them into a real transaction.